My name is John. I'm retired and I'm currently living with heart failure for 3 years. February 2017, I was diagnosed, totally as a shock to me. Wasn't even aware that I even had a heart condition. When he told me I had heart failure, he said the next thing I need to do, he says, is do an angiogram to see if it's any causes. And I said, okay, that's great. I knew what an angiogram was, and we arranged with Dr. Deirdre came down with me. And he done the angiogram and he came back and he said, terrific. I said, what? He said, you've no cardiovascular issues at all. I said, what does that mean? He says, you've simple heart failure. And I said, can you explain that? He says, your heart is clear. But he says, you have heart failure. Failure is that your heart's not working the way it should. For no reason, it's just not doing that. And when he went off, I actually felt like crying. And I turned to her and I said, that's the worst thing he could have told me. And she said, why? I said, if there was a cardiovascular issue, he probably would have said, okay, I'm going to put a stent in to clear it up and do that. He says, in this case, there's nothing he can do. The only real cure I have is probably heart transplant. Probably. Other than that, it's medication to look after the symptoms. And that depressed me more than anything else, knowing that I have this and there's nothing they can do about it. You'd cried. It was worse than finding out I'm not diabetic. I mean, diabetic, I said, okay, lifestyle changed a little bit, and I did, and I managed that. Heart failure. Yep.
Doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. I haven't played tennis since December 2018, having played 3 games a week for 30 years. That's hard. I still have my tennis gear, I still have it on the bag, and I keep thinking that I'm going to get back. But as time goes by, I think the reality is I don't think I ever will. And even if they tell me, yes, you can, I think there'd be a hidden fear that I'll do something and cause myself my heart to go even wrong. So I'm in that mind of sort of saying, I might have to accept that and never do it. Physically, it was great. Mentally, it was great. So we told you had heart failure, you go, something missing, Yeah, and I had no idea what heart failure was. I know what it is now, and I've studied a lot on it, which is what I tend to do. I do understand it, and I often think the wording is wrong. So it's a constant worry. And I compare it, sometimes people ask me, I compare it to diabetes. I said, when I was told I was a diabetic, I said, okay, I read up on that, understood what it was, and said, okay, I have to change my lifestyle, certainly in my diet. And I did. And that worked well for me. Heart failure comes on, and you go, okay, what do I need to do? Well, there's nothing you can do. You have to take medication for all the symptoms that you might be getting from, but there's nothing really you can do. You have this, you have it for life. And it might improve, or it might not improve. We don't know. And sometimes it just doesn't improve. Sometimes it gets worse. Sometimes it gets better. And you go, what a prognosis, but you have to live with it. And I say, okay, in my positive attitude, it is what it is. I get on with life and I do the best I can on the day. I don't let it sort of drag me down. But sometimes when you go to bed at night, you go, okay, am I going to wake up tomorrow with something wrong? Or COVID-19 is worrying. It's also worrying from the point of view that up until COVID-19, I was regularly visiting the heart failure clinic, I think every 2 months, where I went in, they were able to take blood tests because they knew what they were looking for, they knew my condition, and they could do tests. I haven't visited them since February. And that's a worry. And I was speaking to them yesterday, I said, look, I understand that you have to train things down, then you can't get people in. But I said, I get to a point I really need to get to see you. there's nothing wrong with me that I can see. I'm not showing any symptoms, but that comfort of knowing I'm okay, that's not there, and that because of COVID-19, and that's worrying.